All right.
Okay, so start from the beginning. All right. So in college, I sort of started questioning why you could buy tomatoes in January at the grocery store. And they were called tomatoes, but they weren't the same thing that you picked out of your garden in summer. And so that sort of planted the seed for learning to eat seasonably and, sort of locally, because I wanted to eat what was in season when it was in season where I lived, and not, not buy strawberries in January because they're gross. And then along the way, my now husband has worked environmental nonprofit since he graduated from college. So he worked for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation doing environmental education for a really long, 15 years. And he is now the Upper James Riverkeeper. And in both positions, he has worked with farmers and worked to educate people on, clean water and clean rivers and sustainable farming. And, he's toured these farms and he's seeing people dump chicken poop just straight up in the river. Like the Shenandoah River has these fish kills every year, and they think it's partially related to the amount of chicken poop that just gets dumped in the Shenandoah River. I mean, a lot of our water issues are tied to agricultural practices. And, I don't know that gets talked about enough. But so all of that sort of combined with my whole, I need to know exactly where this food came from. I get a little, some people say I'm obsessed, but a lot of people say, well, it's good to be obsessed about that. So that's how I sort of started learning about it. And along the way, I learned to, preserve my own food so that we could eat seasonably, or so we could eat locally all year long. And it all started with tomatoes. I had a goal of growing all my own tomatoes every year. I did not want to eat tomatoes that I did not know where they came from. And so it's sort of went from there. So I learned to can, and now I teach canning. I'm on the board of Market Central, which works to support the city market downtown. And I have gotten to know a lot of farmers because I want to ask them, how do you grow this? And I know that the organic label that you see, farms pay for that, and there is a lot of bureaucratic hoops that you have to jump through in order to get that. And it doesn't, when farms get that, rating, it doesn't necessarily mean that they continue to do those practices. It just means that they've gotten that label and that people are willing to just go, oh, you're certified organic. It kind of doesn't mean a whole lot. And it's also cost prohibitive to some of the local farms. So there are a lot of local farms that actually are organic, but they don't have that label because they just, they can't pay for it, or, just whatever. They're sort of, Joel Salatin is a huge influence on farms here. I mean, he's a big influence everywhere, but because he's local to this area, he is a pretty big influence on that whole conversation. And he's jumped in to help people out, like Double H and a couple other farms.
That's very interesting. It has to do with money. I would never have guessed that you have to pay for that organic. But
yeah.
For the stamp.
Oh, yeah. It's big money. I mean, Walmart is now going to, bring you organic food. That's how much money is involved.
Wow.
But there's a lot of concern that Walmart is going to do what they've done to every other sector, and that is to drive prices down. It's more expensive just to raise food organically and sustainably than it is to just keep dumping chemicals in your land, and wear it out. Basically that's what a lot of those farms do. Yeah. They just wear out their land. They depend on chemicals to bring you the same crop year after year after year. So.
cut that just so it's not an